Thank you, Mazhar Saab. Friends, good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are able to hear me.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to all of
Good
you.
morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Already 164 people. My screen is showing that already 166 people have joined. It is a large class which is possible only virtually, not in the physical mode, because in physical mode we don't admit more than 60 students because the classrooms are small. There are many countries in the world which have very little population. They are known as micro-states. One state is having in Central America, its name is Djibouti. It is having only 10 lakh population. Now, if there are any political rallies there, not more than 200 people attend. Your lecture today is just like addressing a rally of not ordinary people, intellectuals, educated people, teachers, who make great contribution in the nation building, educating, enlightening students. The topic given to me for discussion today is human rights. Before I begin discussing what are human rights, where from they have come, what are the sources of rights, what are the kinds of rights, what the Constitution says about human rights or fundamental rights, what the international law says about human rights, how many international treaties on rights exist, what are the provisions, how they are implemented, what is the role of NGOs to promote them, how many kinds of violations take place. All these aspects will be the focus of my today's lecture. Before I begin, let me ask you to remind your course coordinator, Dr. Faiza Abbasi, to share 2 articles which I have authored, which have been sent by email today, just 15 minutes before, with a request to share these 2 papers with all of you so that you can read later. And if you want to have further knowledge about human rights, you can just Google my name and write human rights. You may get more than 15 papers on internet, which you can download free of cost on different aspects of human rights. With these few words, let me begin my lecture, today's lecture. The topic is very vast, that is human rights. Anything and everything comes under human rights rubric, the broad topic called human rights. You can talk about civil rights, you can talk about political rights, you can talk about economic rights, you can talk about social rights, you can talk about cultural rights, you can talk about linguistic rights, right to speak in one's own language. For example, if anybody is arrested by the police anywhere in the world, not necessarily in India, because if you commit any crime which is not allowed in the law, you may be arrested anywhere, wherever you are. When a person is arrested, the human rights law says that the arrested person has to be informed of the reasons why he has been arrested in the language which he understands, he or she understands. that is in your local language. If you are arrested, say in Spain or Portugal, the charges should not be read out in Portuguese or in Spanish language. That has to be read out to you in the language which you understand. If it is Hindi, it is in Hindi. If it is in Urdu, it has to be in Urdu. If it is in Kannada, it has to be in Kannada language. You know, human rights are embedded in all kinds of laws, whether national laws, whether international laws, whether rights concerned with children, whether rights concerned with women. You have in India protection of women from domestic violence law, which came only in 2005, which was passed by the parliament in 2005 by a UPA government headed by Mr. Manmohan Singh. Now, you know, rights are, the list of rights is very long. Before Second World War, or even you can say before First World War, we had not heard much about human rights. Right to franchise, for example, right to vote in the elections. On universal basis, universal adult basis, all persons in the state who are adult and, you know, on universal ground, that is without any discrimination of education, economic status, caste, color, language, etc. Everyone has to be given right to vote. That right came only after First World War. Right to vote was there earlier also, but all were not given this right. Only educated people were given right. Propertied people were given this right. Women, for example, did not exercise right to vote or not given right to vote before First World War. Now, democracy has come. Now, the sovereignty of the state resides with the people. People are sovereign, not king, not prime minister, not president. The constitutions are written in the name of the people. Power of the state comes from people. That is why now human rights have become an important paradigm of governance. If you want to judge whether a particular government is good or bad, the yardstick should be to know how human rights are defended in that country or not defended or violated, because violations take place in many parts of the world, including India. Before the between the two world wars, before the Second World War, Hitler's Germany violated the rights of minorities, the Jewish minority. 6 million Jews were killed. What was the reason? The reason was that the Nordic race, that is German race, Aryan race, Germans also consider themselves as Aryan race. Hitler's party symbol was swastik. You can understand swastik, who uses swastik in, which party in India uses swastik? The Nazi ideology that we are superior and others are inferior. And more than 9 million people were killed at that time in the Holocaust. Then the world decided to give more importance to the concept of rights, because rights were not, written down. Earlier, in philosophy, political philosophy, there were various theories of rights. I raised a question in the beginning, from where the rights come. Rights come from many sources. There are many sources of rights. One source of rights is religion. Every religion in the world, whether it is Islam, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is Hinduism, has some moral, rights. Dharma. In Hinduism, you have to perform your dharma. Dharma is like duty. In fact, in Indian language, there is no term for rights. The Oriental societies, India, China, Islamic world, they talk more about duties rather than rights. They don't talk much about rights. They talk about duties. You have to perform these duties. But rights and duties are two sides of the same coin. The world decided after the United Nations was founded in 1945, a global organization. And this organization had 4 objectives. One of the objectives was to promote human rights globally. Because if human rights are not promoted, peace will be disturbed in the society. Law and order problem will be there. Tensions will be there. Wars will be there. Then the United Nations decided to have what is known as a human rights document. After 18 months of debate and discussion in the United Nations various forums, a document was adopted. I will just show you. This is Universal Declaration of Human Rights, only 2 pages, 30 articles. This Universal Declaration of Human Rights was the first important international document of human rights. Many of its provisions have been incorporated in Indian Constitution. Because Indian Constitution came in 1949, this came in 1948, on 10th December 1948, this document was adopted, which consists of both civil and political rights, economic, social, and cultural rights. Now, this document, which is in just 2 pages, has been translated in something like 520 different languages in the world. This is the only document which has been translated in so many languages. If you are a Gujarati, you will get a Gujarati translation of this. If you are a Bengali, you will get a Bengali translation. You have to just Google the UN site, the translations of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You will get your text in your own language. On internet, all the 520 translations of this document are available. Earlier, it was only Bible which was translated in more languages. Now, this human rights document is Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the widely translated document in the world. And this laid the foundation of human rights law. Let me just very briefly discuss about, how before 1948, when this declaration came on 10th December, 10th December is known as Human Rights Day all over the world. It is celebrated as a Human Rights Day all over the world because on that day, this UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, was adopted. Before this declaration was adopted, human rights, the concept of human rights was on shaky ground. Philosophers talked about human rights. One theory of human rights is, as I said, human rights come from one source is religion. In the religion, rights and duties are prescribed for everybody. 10 commandments of Christianity is nothing but about rights. One of the commandments is don't kill others. That is right to life, which is sacred, holy. should not be violated, because it has come from God, it has come from Almighty, it has come from nature. Only nature, God, who has given right to life, has right to take away your life. Others should not kill others. That is fundamental, basic right. If you are alive, you can enjoy other rights. If you are not alive, you cannot enjoy other rights. Let me give one example here. Let me share an anecdote to create interest among you about the concept of rights, how important they are. When we say right to life is very important, and it should not be denied to anybody without due process of law. You know, this right is not absolute. If you have killed somebody, court may award death sentence to you. Your life may be denied because you denied somebody else right to life. If you have not committed any crime, nobody has right to, kill you or deny you right to life. Only nature, as I said, only nature has right to take away your right to life. Sometimes we become frustrated in life and we want to commit suicide. Earlier in India, under law, suicide was not allowed. If you want to commit suicide, make sure that you die. Otherwise, earlier, if you are unsuccessful in committing suicide, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted for attempt to suicide, and you will be punished accordingly. Now, Supreme Court had said we should not punish further because the person was not in the healthy mental state. That is why he or she decided to commit suicide, but they were not successful. One person, I am giving you an example to illustrate how important are the rights. One person wanted to commit suicide. He thought about various methods so that he will be successful in dying. What he did was he selected a method which he thought is a good method. He climbed a tall building of 10th floor, and from 10th floor he jumped, thinking that he will certainly die and he will be in many pieces. In 5 minutes he will be dead. He thought like that. But when his body was coming, from 10th floor, when it came near the ground, somebody was walking on the ground and he fell on that person, and the person on the ground died. And the person who came from 10th floor survived. It's very interesting. It is not a joke. It has actually happened in India. I read it some 15 years ago in the newspaper. From this anecdote, from this example, you can understand that rights are given by nature. Rights are given by God sometimes, like right to life. If somebody is coming and trying to kill you, you will try to defend your life in such a way that you, in the process, will kill the attacker in self-defense, because that is innate in our human nature. Our human nature is we want to survive, and that comes naturally. But the problem with the natural rights theory was that if your rights are violated, whom to complain, where to lodge the complaint? Can you complain to the nature? Can you complain to God? God will say, okay, I will punish the concerned person who has violated your rights, not in this world, but after the death. I will send him or her to hell, not to heaven. But who will wait till that time? We can't wait till the doomsday until God decides to send to hell and heaven. Like that, many theories were there, and then some philosophers developed a new theory, that is positive human rights theory. Positive means legal theory of rights. Rights are those which are mentioned in law, in black and white, in the constitution, in the treaties, in the international law documents, so that you can claim, so that you can complain about the violation of rights. If the domestic law is violated, you can go to the court. The domestic violence, if it is committed by men against women, not necessarily wife, it can be mother, it can be sister, it can be anyone, any female living in the house. If man tortures, if man beats, in fact, we learned when last year Mr. Modi government unnecessarily introduced lockdown in March last year, 2020. We read in the newspapers that domestic violence increased in India because all men were at home. They were not allowed to go out. This is what we learned. Now, when the rights are violated, you have redressal mechanisms. Grievances can be redressed. You can make a complaint, go to police thana, lodge a case in the court. In fact, for fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution, if you read the part 3 of the Indian Constitution, you will find many rights. Right to equality, right to freedom of speech, right to life, right to education, Article 21A in the Indian Constitution. Free, compulsory, universal primary education. This was again introduced by, Right to Education Act passed by the UPA government in 2005. Previously, the NDA government of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee had amended the constitution and introduced Article 21A. Later, the next government passed an act to implement that law. Now, every child has to go to the school. All these rights, if they are violated, the Indian Constitution says under Article 32, Article 32 is the most important article in the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is very big constitution, largest constitution in the world. Sometimes we criticize it saying that it is a burden on earth. It's too big. And it is not brief like American Constitution. American Constitution is only 7 articles, 10 pages. Indian Constitution, 400 articles, more than 400 articles, more than 350 pages. Once a question was asked to Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Ambedkar ji, please tell us which article is most important in the Constitution out of these 400 articles. Ambedkar said there is only one article, that is Article 32, which is most important. I am ready to burn the copy of the Constitution of India except this article. What is there in this article? This article talks about fundamental rights. It says if your rights are violated, you can directly go to the Supreme Court of India. Very interesting. For the enforcement of rights. It has many writ petitions, which one of them is habeas corpus petition. If anybody is arrested, he or she has to be produced before the judge, before the magistrate within 24 hours with body, mind and soul. It means he or she should not be tortured. Charges should be told to the judge, and the judge, if he is satisfied, he or she is satisfied, then will allow for detention. Otherwise, it is an illegal detention, illegal arrest. If the Supreme Court is far away from the place where you are arrested, Another article is there in the Constitution, which is known as Article 226, which says, if you cannot go to the Supreme Court because Supreme Court is in New Delhi, you are in Tawang or you are in Kerala or you are in Assam, coming to Supreme Court is very expensive. Then Article 226 says that you can go to High Court, which is in your state capital, for the violation of rights. Now, this gives you a framework how the rights can be implemented. You can find, let me define rights. What is the definition of rights? Rights are those conditions which are essential for the development of human personality. If these conditions are not given, then the human personality will not grow, will not develop. You will lead a life of an animal, one of the animals in this world, in this universe. You will not be a human being. That is, you have rights, you have dignity. Nobody should insult you. Nobody should call you names. These are fundamental, basic. Like even a right to food. If food is not there, you will die. All these rights are interlinked. All are important. Don't think that only right to life is important, right to food is important, right to education is important. Right to religion also is very important. Freedom of religion. Everybody should be free to profess any religion, practice any religion, propagate about the goodness of your religion. That is propaganda, propagation that allows for conversion. Also, people can convert to another religion. These are fundamental. Indian Constitution also talks about that. Article 25 of the Indian Constitution talks about fundamental rights. An American professor, his definition I will give, discuss with you about rights. He was a law professor, Hoffeld, Leslie Hoffeld. He was teaching at Harvard University. He says rights has four things, four meanings, four aspects of rights. Number one, rights are claim rights. There are four kinds of rights. You can say there are four kinds of rights. Some rights are claim rights. What do you mean by claim rights? Claim rights means those rights which you alone can claim. If you are a job holder, you have a right to get salary, wages, tankha. Without wages, nobody works. Mazduri has to be given to the workers. For the work which you do, for the job which you do, you are entitled to get salary, not your brother, your wife, your children. This is known as entitlement rights. Suppose I am a member of a library. Only I can borrow books. On my card, nobody else can borrow books. That is entitlement right. If you have got a ticket, rail ticket or air ticket, only you can travel. Somebody else on your ticket cannot travel. These are claim rights, entitlement rights. The second category of rights are liberty rights. Everybody is free to lead the life as he or she wants to lead the life. Nobody should dictate you how to lead a life. Freedom should be given. Right to speak, freedom of speech, freedom of movement. You are free to move anywhere. You are free to settle anywhere. In India, you can settle anywhere. In the world, you can settle anywhere. you have right to leave your country and you have right to return back to your country. You know, these freedoms, or say, let me give an example here. If you want to grow beard, you can grow beard. If you want to be clean shaven, you can be clean shaven. These are your freedoms. These freedoms should be available. If you want that everybody should grow beard in the world, then that is not allowed. Because everybody has to lead a life according to one's own liberty. Then the third category of rights is power rights. If somebody is driving vehicle on the wrong side on the road, it is only the traffic police which has power to impose fine. Criminal police has no power, or reserve police has no power. Central Reserve Police has no power. When you are traveling in the train, only TT, ticket checker, he has right to check your ticket. Nobody else can check your ticket. That is power right. Or to speak in the parliament. Only the members of parliament has this right to speak in the parliament. You as a citizen can attend the parliamentary sessions in the gallery, but you have no right to speak. There is only one person who is allowed to participate in the parliament, in the debate, who is not a member of the parliament. He is Attorney General of India. Attorney General of India under the Constitution is allowed to participate in the discussion in the parliament, but he has no right to vote because he is not a member. Right to vote in the parliament on any resolution, any law is a prerogative, a discretion, is a right only of the members of parliament who are elected. The last category, the fourth category of rights, immunity rights. Immunity means we have immunity for COVID, or we have immunity for certain viruses like that, the virus doesn't attack you. You have immunity. The constitutional power holders, the people who are holding constitutional posts are having immunity rights. If President of India, commits any mistake or if he violates law, he cannot be punished. Or if a member of parliament speaks any nonsense in the parliament, he cannot be punished for, violation of freedom of speech or defamation. They have immunity. That is, they are exempt from punishment. Everybody doesn't have, this right. Now, friends, my next aspect of discussion is kinds of rights. There are various kinds of rights. First is civil and political rights. Civil rights are many. Civil rights means rights which are concerned with your civility, with your personality. They are concerned with you only. They are not concerned with the society. They are not concerned with the language. They are not concerned with, the culture or group rights. They are concerned with you only. There are a number of civil rights available in national law, international law. The most important is the right to equality. All should be treated equal. Nobody should be discriminated. Right to life. Freedom from torture. Nobody should be tortured. Freedom of religion. Freedom of expression. There are a number of rights. Right to marry, for example. Everyone has a right to establish a family, and fair trial, right to a fair trial. Everybody should be allowed to go to the courts if their rights are violated. These are civil rights. A right to life, for example. These rights, civil rights, are also known as, in law, negative rights. Negative means don't deny somebody right to life, don't torture someone, don't deny freedom of religion, don't deny freedom of expression. No. These rights are fundamental. You don't interfere in these rights. Right to privacy. These days we are hearing in the parliament, Pegasus scandal of the NDA government. Secretly, government is trying to tap the telephones of many leaders, opposition leaders, journalists, those who are against government, any teacher. We do not know the complete list. List is too long. Still investigation is going on. These are negative rights. Means you don't have to spend money on implementing these rights. Let me explain a few of these rights. Equality. Equality is most important. Ambedkar, in fact, included this equality right as a first right in the Constitution of India. Article 14, equality. 15, non-discrimination. Nobody should be discriminated. Because we keep on discriminating people. On the ground of religion, on the ground of caste, on the ground of language, on the ground of nationality, on the ground of language, on the ground of caste. Caste discrimination is very unique in the entire world, which prevails only in India. Scheduled castes, Dalits, are discriminated. Kerala, where the Nambudri Brahmins practice this. Many Brahmins practice this untouchability. They don't touch, the lower caste Sudras, outcasts. You will be surprised to know that in Kerala, these Nambudri Brahmins, when they buy salt, namak, for cooking from the market, they wash it before using. The crystal one, not the Tata salt, not the salt which we use in the market, buy from the market. The crystal one, they wash. Why they wash? They wash because thinking that lower caste people may have worked in the salt factory. They may have touched the salt. That is why they wash. Nambudri Brahmins have another very funny tradition, because they have joint family system. Only elder brother is allowed to marry. If other brothers are allowed to marry, other brothers are not allowed to marry, because if they are also allowed to marry, they will ask for partition of the family property. Now, if the elder brother is having wife and children and enjoying life, having sexual gratification, what about other 3 brothers or 2 brothers? Now the convention there allows them to have concubines. They can have girlfriends in the lower caste community. Many of them go to scheduled caste, Dalit families, and they have sexual relations. An anthropologist who was doing research on Dalits asked a question. Sir, Brahmin sir, you don't touch Dalit people. Why you are touching their women and having sex? No, I don't get polluted by having sex, because, if I take bath, I will be pure. If I take water from their home, or if I take tea from their home, then I become polluted, because that goes inside my stomach. These kind of prejudices, these kind of discriminatory practices are prevalent towards lower caste people. We discriminate on the basis of sex. Girl child no education, no good food, no nutritious food. No property rights are given to women. Read the Hindu Marriage Act, you will know. Traditionally, before this law was passed, in 1955, Hindu Marriage Act was passed by Pandit Nehru's government. Before that, women had no property rights. Women had no right to inherit, no right of adoption, no right of, even have a job or even exercise right to vote before First World War, as I mentioned. Discrimination towards women is in our mind. Let me give here a very interesting example of, a British hospital where an experiment was conducted. Very interesting experiment. One newly born baby was put on in the clothes of boy, and 10 people were asked to come and look at the boy baby and comment. After looking at the baby, many of those people said, "Oh my God, very handsome boy. I think he will create history. He will be a great person. He will be an eminent person." Good comments came. Then those people were asked to go out. Now the same baby, the clothes were changed. Now baby frock. The same people were asked to come and look at the baby and comment. After looking at baby girl, "Oh my God, this is a very weak girl, fragile. I don't think she will be a great person. She will not create any history." In fact, this word history, this discipline history, what is history? History is actually his story, uski kahani, आदमी की कहानी, man's story, his story. That is what is the discipline history. Discrimination is in our mind, prejudices, and it will take time to go. We discriminate sometimes on the basis of religion. In England in 1972, a law came. The British government passed a law. The law was that every two-wheeler rider has to wear helmet for your safety, for protecting your right to life. If an accident takes place, you may have injury, but not head injury, because head injury is very dangerous. In this head part, you have this brain, which is like your CPU of computer, which gives directions to all parts of the body, orders for all parts of the body. Now, all the British citizens said, "Okay, this is a good law, we will follow the law." One group of people said, "No, we will not follow this law because this violates our religious right, freedom of religion." Which is that group? That was actually that is an Indian group. British citizens from Punjab, Sardarjis. Now, Sardarji, you must have seen, they have pagadi. They have hair. You are not supposed to cut your hair, because according to Sikhism, you are not supposed to cut your hair. Sikhism means 5 Ks. Kada, Kirpan, Kanga, Kacha. There are 5 Ks. Khalsa. You can keep a kirpan and enter the parliament. That is a weapon, dagger. All others are not allowed to carry weapon in the parliament, in the airport, but Sardarjis are allowed. Now, the British Sardarjis said, "We cannot wear helmet." Then the British government said, "We will impose fine." All the Sardarjis said, "Okay, we will pay fine, but we will not wear helmet." because it is part of our religion. We are already having helmet, natural helmet, that is our pagadi, which tries to protect our head. Then one intellectual, Sardarji, developed an argument with the British government. The argument was that many Sardarjis were in British Indian Army, and we have won 2 world wars for British government without wearing helmet. Now, why should we wear helmet now? There is no need to wear helmet. Even the construction workers were asked to wear helmets for their safety of the head. Construction in the big buildings, if some brick falls from 10th floor, a person may die. That is for our own safety. Equality is a very, very important right. All people should be treated equal. I will give 2-3 more examples. In America, one president was killed. His name was Mr. Garfield. Why he was killed? Who killed him? One unemployed person killed him. When that person was arrested and asked a question in the court, why did you kill American president? 1881, no security like today's president of America enjoys. It is very difficult to kill the American president now. Till 1960s, when John F. Kennedy was killed, without security, presidents used to move in open jeep. Now, bulletproof, vehicle. When this person was asked a question, why did you kill American president? He said, look, I am having all the qualifications, all the degrees of the university, but I am not getting job. Because jobs in America are given on the basis of color. White people will have job. In America, slaves had no rights till slavery was abolished after Civil War. 1864, there was a civil war for 4 years. Abraham Lincoln, after the war, abolished slavery. But ultimately, he has to lose his own life because somebody killed him. A white man killed him. He was going to see a play, I think, in open opera theater. He was killed because the person who killed wanted that slavery should continue because you don't have to pay salary. You can take work from the blacks. Now, this student who killed Garfield said, jobs are given in America on the basis of recommendation, sifarish, recommendation, color. Protestants, Catholics are not given job. Protestants are given. White, Protestants, they have edge over the other people. That is why I killed. Whether you have all the rights or not, one right is available to everybody in America. That is right to have a gun. Right to have a gun is universally available. Sometimes you may not get vegetables in the market, but you will find gun very easily. You can buy gun very easily in the United States of America.
Okay, Professor Vijayapur sir, just give me a minute. Sorry for interrupting you. But it is my duty.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome
Good
you.
morning, sir.
And thank you
Good morning, sir.
on behalf of all the
Good morning, sir.
fellow teachers enrolled in this FIP. And Professor Vijayapur, one of us, Chairman, Department of Political Science at the Aligarh Muslim University, an authority on civil liberties, human rights, governance issues, and is a prolific writer published internationally. So it is your good fortune that you have been interacting with him. His equally distinguished wife, I don't forget her. She is at Jamia Millia Islamia because we invite her. So
Sir, one interruption
yes.
is, I had sent you mail. I think you have not seen the mail. Due to second COVID wave, my wife
at that time, yes, we had lost touch with everyone, and I'm terribly sorry. Her face.
She was head of Department of Political Science when
I know. That's why I thought it to mention that it is always a pleasure to invite her also, and she was a regular resource person. So we have missed a very, very competent scholar. My heartfelt condolence to you, and may God rest her soul in peace and give you the strength to bear with this loss. तो जी हाँ, बताएं डॉक्टर संदीप अग्रवाल कैसा चल रहा है? डॉक्टर संदीप जी।
हाँ जी, बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है।
बढ़िया चल रहा है, चले। डॉक्टर साहब से फायदा उठा लें। डॉक्टर साहब दिल्ली में भी बहुत रहे हैं, अलीगढ़ में भी रहे हैं। आप बताएं, पार्था सिंह, डॉक्टर पार्था सिंह। डॉक्टर प्रथा सिंह, प्रथा? Yes, switch on your mic.
Sir, प्रथा नहीं, प्रतिमा होगा सर।
Okay, sorry, Pratima. Sorry, very sorry.
सर बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है सर का सिस्टम, बहुत अच्छा है, मतलब काफी जानकारी।
Great. I am happy for you. And yes, Dr. Abid Basha, Hyderabad. Are you from Andhra Pradesh?
I'm from Chennai, sir. Alhamdulillah, very nice session, sir. Very informative, great session, sir. Thanks for great resource person, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Last person, Dr. Shilpa Shri. Shilpa, are you there? Dr. Shilpa?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. How is everything?
Yes, sir.
How is everything?
It was very interesting, sir. All sessions were very good. And really, it was very nice to have this opportunity to undergo this program, sir.
Thank you all. So Vijaypur Sahab, thank you once again, and please convey my condolence to your beautiful daughter also. She must be missing her. I know a young woman, young girl like her needs mother most, especially before marriage. Even after marriage, but before marriage, she is the best friend, best advisor. But we are helpless. We can't do anything about it. So thank you very much. Please continue, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for interaction, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Let me resume my discussion. I was mentioning about the United States of America. You know, in the United States of America, was a practice. The practice was, I request others to switch off their microphones so that there is no echo, there is no disturbance. Okay. In the United States of America, I give the example why one unemployed youth killed the American president. Because at that time, after the killing of the American president, Garfield, the United States of America introduced Civil Service Commission, like our UPSC, which will conduct examinations, and there is no discrimination. Everybody will be given job according to the merit. That was introduced, later. And in India also we have UPSC, but in other jobs, in university jobs, in college jobs, we find discrimination. Always jobs are not given in India on the basis of merit alone. Sometimes jobs are given by accepting money, bribe. In Kerala, I'm sorry, not Kerala, this Haryana. The former Haryana Chief Minister, Mr. Chautala, and his son, Deputy, Chief Minister, they were sent to.
सर आप म्यूट हो गए
your microphone is off.
सर आप म्यूट हो गए
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now, are you able to hear now?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. What I was telling for the last 2-3 minutes was that in India also, the American president was killed because in America there was a system of recruitment on the basis of party affiliation. There are two political parties in America. One is the Republican Party, one is the Democratic Party. If Democratic Party wins election, all the important government jobs will go to the sympathizers of Democratic Party. After 4 years, Republican Party is coming to power, and the Republican Party will dismiss all the previous employees and recruit new people. This was known as spoil system. This was known as hiring and firing. Permanent jobs were not there in the United States of America. That is why that person killed the American president, one unemployed youth, because he had all the qualifications, but he was not getting job. In India also, I was saying that in India also, we find that this kind of discrimination is there. Sometimes we give job on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, on the basis of color, on the basis of money, bribery. The former Chief Minister of Haryana spent 10 years in jail, Mr. Chautala, because he had taken money to give appointments to primary school teachers. They were not qualified. You have all kinds of ghaplas while giving job. Sometimes, your promotion depends on, not on abilities. In India, there is another technique to get job, that is known as psychophancy. Psychophancy means chamchagiri. Do the chamchagiri of your boss. I will share with you one very interesting share. One librarian wrote earlier, he is no more now alive. He said, Wafa tarke suno ay sathiyo. Wafa means wafadari. That is, you are trustful. Forget about wafa, being faithful. Forget about faithfulness. वफा तर के छोड़कर सुनो ऐ साथियों, लियाकत में रखा क्या है, एबिलिटीज में क्या रखा है, दयानत में धरा क्या है। तुम खुशामद करो अफसर की ऐसी, हर सीआर से पहले अफसर खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है। CR means confidential report. Government officers' confidential report is written by a higher officer, the controlling officer. And if you are doing psychophancy, chamchagiri, then you will have good, CR. That is what it means. Equality has many dimensions. I will give another example here, then I will quickly move on because my half an hour's time is now only half an hour's time is there, or less than half an hour time, because I will give 5 minutes for question answer also at the end. In the early 20th century, Jamshedji Tata, a rich man from Bombay, he wanted to have a meeting of business meeting in a hotel called as Imperial Hotel. That was the biggest hotel or good hotel at that time in Bombay. He went along with his friends, business party, for a meeting. He was stopped by gateman at the gate. Sir, you can't enter this hotel. He said, why? What is the reason? Sir, this hotel is only for Europeans, white people, not for Indians. He became angry and he went back. He said, okay, I will construct 10 times bigger hotel like your hotel, Imperial Hotel, just in front of India Gate, Gateway of India. And I will give the name Taj Mahal Hotel. He constructed Taj Mahal Hotel, big hotel. And he said, anybody can come, Europeans can come, anybody who has pocket in their money can come and have a cup of tea, because a cup of tea in that hotel may cost more than 600 rupees. A cup of tea will cost 600 rupees. Just tea. Very expensive. Anybody can come. Equality is understood in that way by some people. My last example about equality is, we had a Congress party president and a former student of my university, Aligarh Muslim University. Though I never studied there, I was teacher there. I studied in Karnataka, I studied in England, I studied in JNU. I am a product of other universities, not of Aligarh University. This person's name is Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar, Muhammad Ali brothers. He was participating along with Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, in non-cooperation movement. He used to say, Muhammad Ali used to say to his friends that if I die in India, I should not be buried in India, because India is a ghulam country, India is a slave country, India is not independent country, India is ruled by Britishers. If I die in England, I should not be buried in England because England has enslaved India. Unfortunately, he died in London while attending second round table conference or first round table conference. His friends decided what to do with his dead body, because we can't carry the dead body to India. We can't bury him in England because he had said I should not be buried in England. At that time, Palestine was independent, and his friends arranged the body, and the body was shifted to Jerusalem, holy city, and he has been buried there. That is how he understood, Maulana understood what is, equality. Equality has many connotations. One last example to give, we feed, we always have in our traditional society in India, son preference in the family. Daughters are not preferred. Feticide is being practiced. If the sex of the unborn baby is known, if the baby is a female baby, then go for abortion, spend 5,000 rupees, because otherwise later you have to give 50,000, 5 lakh rupees as dowry at the time of marriage. That is the system. We discriminate female child at every stage. And a study was conducted in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, why young men are suffering heart attack. More and more young people are suffering heart attack in comparison to females, because the boys are given nutritious food when they are children, more milk, more nutritious food, more fruits, good food. But her mother is anemic. Boy is overfed. At the age of 40, he is unable to control, his heart bursts, heart failure. These things are going on. Friends, civil and political rights are those: right to contest election, right to exercise vote, right to participate in the governance, right to be heard politically. These are political rights. And the second category of rights are also very important. They are known as positive rights. Socio-economic rights. Right to education is a social right. Very expensive right, because you have to construct hospitals, recruit doctors, give medicine. Right to free health. Now this vaccine, corona vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine is being given. as a protection shield. Modi government is saying it is free. And he is printing, he is asking, to put his photograph on that vaccination certificate. Nonsense. I will say nonsense. This is nonsense because it is not free. First of all, it is not free. It is, even if it is free, I got vaccinated by paying money in the private hospital. Even in my certificate, Modi's photograph is there. Why should Modi's photograph should be there when I have paid for my vaccination? Even those who have got free vaccination in government hospitals, why Modi's tasveer or photo should be there? Because it is taxpayers' money. The vaccination is given by taxpayers' money. Because Modi has this weakness of propagating about himself. That is his problem. Right to health is a very expensive right. Right to education is a very expensive right because you need schools, recruitment of teachers, salaries to the teachers, construction of the buildings, construction of the hostels, construction of the university buildings. Right to education is very expensive. That is why originally in the Indian Constitution, right to free education was not there. I mentioned in my previous part of the lecture today in the morning that only in 2005 RTE was passed, Right to Education Act was passed. If you read very carefully Right to Education Act, you will be shocked to know that Government of India is not spending any money on free primary universal compulsory education. We all the citizens are taxed. Education cess is there. From public money is taken. If this had to be done, why it was not done in 1947 itself? So that by today, everyone would have been educated like in Kerala. Kerala is the only state which is having 100% literacy. Because of literacy, awareness is there in Kerala. Every family, whether it is a Muslim family, Christian family, Hindu family, not more than 1 or 2 children are there. Now the Yogi government of UP wants to introduce population control bill. Nonsense. Promote education, people will control their own population. People would not like to have more and more children. Education brings revolution in the mind. But that is expensive, positive right, because you have to spend money. Less than 1% of our GDP or 2% of our GDP is spent on education. Social security, right to social security. What is social security? This concept came actually from Soviet Union. The communist regime of Russia after 1917, when communist revolution was brought by Lenin, socio-economic rights were introduced and guaranteed. And right to work, for example, right to work was guaranteed in the Soviet Constitution. Soviet Constitution was the first constitution in the world which guaranteed right to work. Right to work was given to every citizen. As a result, Soviet Union became superpower within 25 years. Everybody contributed for the nation building. Right to work was given according to your abilities, according to your qualifications. If government was unable to give you right to work, right to job, they were giving you unemployment bonus. Social security. Now, many European countries were scared of communist revolution in their country. To prevent communism coming to their country, what they did was they adopted socialist idea of social security. In England also there is a social security. I will give here another example. I had a friend from Pakistan. He was from Lahore. He was a student in England along with me. He narrated to me very interesting experience of his life. He came to England thinking that he will be successful lawyer. He could not get success there. After 5 years of stay, he wanted to go back to Pakistan. His friend said, "My God, why you want to go back to Pakistan? Pakistan is the worst country." Now Pakistani friends are telling him that why you want to go back to Pakistan? You will have more problems there. Here, you have comfort. You have a better life in England, London. He said, I don't have a job. I don't have a house. What to do? His friend said, okay, no problem. If you have no house, if you have no job, you can get social security. He said, I'm not a citizen here. His friend said, no. All those who are living in England under the jurisdiction of England are entitled for social security. This is, I am telling, of 1970s. Not now. Now it is, laws are changed now. So then that friend of mine applied for social security. That I am a poor fellow, I am not having job, I want to get a social security. Later he acquired double citizenship. He was British citizen as well as Pakistani citizen. Later, he applied for social security. He was called for interview. He went to attend the interview. On that day, he was not wearing good clothes to give the impression that he is a poor man, to impress the interview board members. He told me that he was deliberately wearing shoes, one of which had a hole, because जूता जब घिस जाता है तो उसमें होल आ जाता है. And in front of the interview board members, he sat cross-legged so that the hole in the juta is seen by the officers and they should be kind enough to approve the social security. He gave the interview and came back home. After 15 days, a letter comes from Social Security Department. And the letter reads like this: Mr. Aslam, we are pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. Congratulations. You will get from, this month, Social Security amount of so and so pounds. Full stop. Next paragraph. You will also find attached another check. Please buy new shoes. Look at the sensitivity of the officers. In India, if you want to withdraw your own money from the bank, there are a lot of problems. You can't withdraw courtesy Modi rules, Modi government rules that more than 2 lakh rupees cash. So many restrictions. You can't get your own pension within time. So many restrictions. Now, in United Kingdom, there are no private doctors. There are no doctors, private doctors. Private doctors cannot practice privately. Health services have been nationalized in 1977 in the United Kingdom. Every citizen is given the name of a general practitioner, and every general practitioner is given the name of the citizen. You have to consult them. If you go to any hospital, you will be admitted. No bills, no payment. The doctors and the hospitals will give you some form. You have to fill the form without attaching any stamp paper. You have to post that form. Government will decide whether you have to pay some money or not, depending on your income. That is the system. Because this system was introduced because of the fear of communism coming in England. Because Karl Marx, when he wrote this theory of communism, he was in England, he was in London. He was doing research. He wrote Das Kapital sitting in British Museum, which was at that time the largest library. Today, the largest library is the Congress Library. Today. At that time, when Karl Marx wrote his Das Kapital, London British Museum was the largest library in the world. When the Soviet Union was dissolved in 1991, at that time, you will be surprised to know, literature suggests us that 80% of Soviet citizens were living in the houses provided by the government, provided by the state, because constructing house also is very expensive. Right to housing, right to social security, right to education, right to health. These are socio-economic rights, very expensive, positive rights. Now, after 1970s, a third generation of rights have emerged in the world. They are known as group rights. Groups also have rights. Women as a group. There is a separate treaty, international treaty known as Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. CEDAW. CEDAW is a women's rights treaty. CRC, Convention on the Rights of the Child. Children as a group. Disabled as a group. Minorities as a group. Tribals or indigenous population as a group. They have rights, group rights. Even among these group rights, there are certain rights which can be called as collective rights, because the civil and political rights can be enjoyed individually, whereas certain rights have to be enjoyed collectively. For example, clean environment. Right to clean environment is not a single person's concern. It is a collective right. It is a group right. The entire country, entire world should be worried about that. Climate change, global warming, because the glaciers are now melting in the Antarctica, as well as in Himalaya and Alps mountains in Europe. The sea level, water of the sea level will rise. Studies are showing that Bangladesh will disappear because it will be submerged. Maldives will disappear. Water will enter in the Queen of England's Buckingham Palace, it seems, because of these studies. Now we have to think about how to contain environmental degradation. That is also linked with right to life. If you do not have clean air, clean drinking water, what about Ganges, holy water? People put holy water in the mouth of a dying person. I used to tell my students that if you are a Hindu, please don't put Ganga Jal in the mouth of your relatives, because if you put Ganga Jal, he or she will certainly die. Because of toxic waste which is found in the Ganga Jal, because of Kanpur tannery factories and all, the lot of waste, human waste is being dumped in the Ganges. Right to peace is emerging again as a collective right. Developed countries are selling us weapons. Rafale aircraft, India is buying from France, spending a lot of money on nuclear weapons. What is the job of weapons? Weapons kill people. They don't feed people. They don't allow you to develop your personality. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, we have seen what kind of devastation took place because of nuclear war. Scientists are saying if nuclear war takes place, that will be the last war. We had 2 world wars, First World War, Second World War. If nuclear war takes place, entire humanity will be eliminated. That will be Third World War. And Fourth World War will be between sticks and stones, because human beings and animals will not be surviving because of the radiation of nuclear weapons. Now, people are talking about right to peace. But this peace concept is very, elusive. Only, I sometimes say satirically that only 2 people are having peace in the world. Who are these 2 lucky people who are having peace in the world? One who is already dead and one who is not yet born. Only these 2 people are having peace in the world. Rest of the people do not have peace. One more right has emerged: collective right, group right, right to development. The third world countries, the poor countries are saying that we are poor because we were exploited for centuries by the colonial masters. We were rich, our natural resources were exploited by rich countries. Even today, MNCs, multinational companies are exploiting our resources. And now it is the duty, moral duty, legal duty of the Western world, developed world, Europe and America and Canada put together. Canada, of course, was a colony of Britain. It is the duty of the rich countries to help the poor countries to achieve development, transfer technology, or give loans on soft terms. It is their moral duty, it is their legal duty. And in this way, these three kinds of rights, civil, political, first category of rights, economic, social, and cultural rights, the second category of rights, and the third is group rights, collective rights. There are many treaties also, human rights treaties, which Indian government has ratified. Now, some countries have accepted one protocol to International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which is having a provision of complaining to the UN, sending your petition to the United Nations. Very interesting. Because at present, you can go up to Supreme Court of India. After Supreme Court, then you have to go to God for getting justice. But many European countries have ratified that international provision or treaty, which allows individuals to send petition to beyond your nation, beyond your national borders. Like European Convention of Human Rights. There is a European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg in France. European Commission of Human Rights was there. Europeans can take their case to beyond England. If you are thinking that your rights are violated, you can go to European Court of Human Rights. For example, many British citizens went to Strasbourg Court of Human Rights, European Court of Human Rights, when Mr. Salman Rushdie, Indian-born author, British citizen, wrote a novel called as Satanic Verses, which blasphemed, this religion, Islam. Friends, these are my perspectives on rights. And lastly, I will just take 2 minutes to explain some characteristics of rights. Number one, rights are universal. Human rights are universal. Universal means everybody in the world should be given rights, irrespective of religion, caste, color, creed, nationality, your status. Even refugees have rights. Foreigners have rights. Rights are universal, number one. Number two, rights are interdependent. You can't say this right is more important, right to life is important, right to education is not important, or right to criticize government is not important, because communist Russia did not give civil and political, most of the political rights to their citizens. That is why communism failed. Communism disappeared. All rights are important. Rights are interdependent. My rights are your duties and your rights are my duties. To respect your rights is my duty. When I am speaking, you have to listen. Listening is your duty. Speaking is my right. When the time is over or
वीडियो पॉज हुआ शायद.
Not audible anything.
Not audible.
Sir's connection has lost.
What happened, Blue?
Sir's connection has lost.
There is a connection problem. I'm just checking out. Don't worry.
Okay.
Video got paused.
Just wait. There is a connection problem. No worries. Just wait. Hello. I'm just talking to him. Just wait. I think there is a connection problem from his side. Just because of that only is not audible, and we are not able to call also. Phone is not connecting. I'll just stop recording first. नहीं नेटवर्क से लग नहीं रहा, पता नहीं कैसे। I think what we'll do, there is a connection problem. आ गए सर, आ गए. हाँ सर, is there. Bijapur, are you there now? Yeah, there was. I think there is a network problem from your side just because of that only.
Sir,
Please unmute, sir. Please unmute.
Sir, you are mute, sir.
Bijapur, sir, please unmute.
Please unmute.
Sir, unmute.
Unmute, sir.
Now the question answer session will begin. I'm sorry, there was some network problem. I reconnected again. And it was good that once my lecture was over, the connectivity problem came. That was also good.
Bijapur, sir, the time is 12:30. So if you take only 1 or 2 questions, that will be enough, because we have to take a break.
Okay.
Then we have to.
Okay.
It's 12. Okay, no worries, sir. Go on. This is the second session. You can go on with the question.
Okay.
You can go.
I'm allowed to take more questions. And if any question is not replied, I think I will be given another session for this group, I was told. Then also, some of the questions. Tomorrow there is one more session. And I do not know the topic. I think Mazhar Saab will let me know by this evening.
Yes, sir, tomorrow second session.
Okay.
Sir, आपको topic देने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. आप किसी भी topic पे बोल सकते हैं.
No problem. Just 1 hour before, if you give me topic, I will just,
Yeah, I know it, sir. I know it.
put the data in my computer, in my mind's computer. Okay. Questions. Now questions are invited, friends.
Sir, can I ask?
Sir,
Excuse me, sir.
sir, may I speak,
Okay.
sir?
Sure, one by one. Yeah.
Sir, in my
Sir.
college, most of the assistant professors are approved for getting PhD for higher studies, but I am not getting till now. How I can fight? Is there any rights to get other or I am a single one? I am engineer to working in other technical university.
Okay.
So that other assistant professors are getting approved for PhD, but I am not still getting approved for studying PhD higher studies.
Okay.
How you will fight?
You are a government of
Yes,
Meghalaya employee.
Yes,
Government of
yes.
Meghalaya employee. Okay, you see, if you are in the central government, I had a friend. I will just explain your problem. I had a friend who was working in ONGC, and ONGC was engineer, and he got a 2-year leave, because UGC, University Grants Commission, is having a rule that teachers who are teachers, if they do not possess PhD, they can apply for leave, 2 years leave, which is a paid leave. Full salary is given up to 3 years. But in your job, I do not know, because the UGC, unless your association of all the government engineers in Meghalaya demand from the government that steady leave provision should be there. Central government gives even to IAS officers. All the IAS officers, IPS officers can take 2 years paid leave and do any course. It need not be PhD alone. It can be anything, another master's or MBA or anything you can do. I will advise you to give a representation to your education minister, to your department, that is engineering department. If it is a PWD department, you can write to the minister. Meghalaya is a small state. I had visited Meghalaya 2 times. One to visit this USTM, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, and once I was in Guwahati and went on a trip to Shillong. It's a nice place, and the smaller states can listen to the employees. Big states like UP or Bihar, nobody listens to anybody. Even ministers are hired by the chief minister.
Sir, I belong to Tamil Nadu, sir.
Oh, that is a discrimination. That is a discrimination. That comes under discrimination. If you are a tribal Meghalaya citizen person, unfortunately, we do not have double citizenship in India. In the United States of America, every person is having double citizenship. One is you are a citizen of United States of America, and another is you are a citizen of that state. We do not have. We have single citizenship. That is the problem. But that you can make a representation. I hope the government will listen. Otherwise, you change your job. You join the teaching profession. In the teaching profession, all the universities, all the colleges in India have adopted UGC rules. This is the only suggestion which I can give.
Yes.
Okay, now please, ma'am.
You have to fight for your rights. Rights are not given in a plate and present you. You have to fight for your rights. Yeah, somebody you are saying
Sir,
something.
Okay,
Can I ask a question, sir?
Please, participants, please be on mute. Please be on mute. Raise your hand one by one. Lakshmi ma'am, now your turn.
Sir, if you have time for 2 minutes only, I want to share my opinions about something, sir. So keeping respect for all the political leaders, I want to say here that in that time of emergency or in Indira Gandhi's time, there was she did so much amending the constitution, our constitution. So here I would like to say that if it would have been going like this, I think the total constitution would have changed, I think. So thanks to thanks to Supreme Court that he has given the jurisdiction, I think that the basic structure should not be changed of our constitution. The basic structure should not be changed. So yeah, I want to thank Supreme Court for that. Number one. And sir, number two, you talked about that Holocaust that Hitler did. So 6 million people, Jews were there. So when I read that Anne Frank diary, and I also saw the film which was made on this, so I couldn't sleep for 3 days at least. The concentration camp and all which I saw, sir, I was just trembling at that time. So from philosophical perspective, as my subject is philosophy, I would like to say that everything returns back, na sir. That's why Hitler died by committing suicide. Yeah, this is the 2 things I want to share with you, sir.
Thank you. This was not a question. This was a comment. I will give a small comment on her comment. That is, she said Indira Gandhi had suspended rights during emergency 75-77. But she did it constitutionally. President of India promulgated emergency. This total revolution by JP was, creating a problem. But that was through misuse of power was there, and she was punished for that, and she was defeated, and she lost the prime ministership. Morarji Desai came to power. Good thing. But our present prime minister, present government, without imposing emergency, is violating human rights, violating the rights of parliament, violating the rights of farmers, violating the rights of journalists, violating the rights of teachers. Because I superannuated last year. Before that, after the demonetization, my university was not getting grants for the payment of teachers' gratuity, teachers' leave encashment. Everything was delayed. This is unconstitutional. Without using constitution, rights are being trampled upon, rights are being abrogated, rights are being suppressed, and we have to wage our voice, strongest voice against any dictatorship. As I said in response to the first question, rights will not be available to you unless you fight. You have to struggle. You have to, in the process, you may die also. As many people fighting for India's free independence lost their lives. They sacrificed their lives. Many were killed. But Britishers were quite good. They were following rule of law. Britishers were allowing, when Gandhi and Nehru were arrested and they were put in jail, if these people wanted some books were provided to them. In the library, jailer used to provide them books. And Nehru wrote his Discovery of India in jail, Ahmedabad jail. He wrote his autobiography in the jail. Great classic. Good books were written in the jail. But nowadays in jail, nothing is given. So that is they used to treat political inmates as political prisoners, not like criminals. You are fighting for a cause. You are fighting for certain rights. That is the distinction we have to make between the present regime and Indira Gandhi's emergency regime. L.K. Advani said, बगैर इमरजेंसी के मोदी साहब वही काम कर रहे हैं जो इंदिरा गांधी काम कर रही थी. इसी बात पे उनको हटा दिया, इसी बात पे उनको मार्गदर्शन पे दूर कर दिया.
I do agree.
Sir, may I speak, sir? Sir.
Yes, please. Yes.
Sir.
Okay,
please.
Now, please. Prabitra, sir, please. Devrati ma'am, it's your chance. Now you please unmute your...
Yes. Yes. Sir, can you clarify a bit more about the immunity right? So you just discussed about the immunity right. Can you just clarify a bit more?
And this is my question also.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah. Immunity means you are exempted from punishment. Like if the President of India. Okay. I will give one very interesting example. Mr. Modi, before 2014, was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He did not enjoy this immunity. Immunity means freedom from punishment. Till 2014, Modi's visa was cancelled by the American government. He was not allowed to visit America. This Biden, who is President of America today, he was Vice President of Barack Obama. He had cancelled Modi's visa. Why? And I will explain why the Modi's visa was cancelled. Because of 2002 Gujarat riots, in which more than 1,000 Muslims were killed in Gujarat. Modi once wanted to visit England when he was Chief Minister, because a lot of Gujarati people are there, Gujarati British citizens. They invited him for some gathering. And he accepted the invitation, he wanted to go. When British Prime Minister Tony Blair learned about this, he telephones Manmohan Singh. He doesn't telephone Chief Minister of Gujarat, Modi, because he will talk to his counterpart in India. His counterpart was Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister of India. Mr. Prime Minister, please advise your Chief Minister of Gujarat, Modi, not to visit England, because once he visits England, at the airport he will be arrested. Because a non-bailable warrant has been issued against him by a British court, because one British citizen who visited Gujarat in 2002, to his relatives, he was killed. Now you understand the context. Prime Minister Tony Blair is saying, I do not want that India, bad news for India, that a serving chief minister is being arrested. Serving chief minister doesn't enjoy the immunity. Only Prime Minister of India, President of India enjoy this immunity. They are exempt. And once after 2024, if Modi is no more Prime Minister, if he visits any country, he may be arrested. Because many people have alleged that he has committed genocide in Gujarat. Nowadays, under Genocide Convention, we have International Criminal Court in Hague. Any country can arrest the culprit and produce before the International Criminal Court. Only these people enjoy, when they are holding constitutional position, then they are enjoying immunity. As I had given in my lecture another example, that you can attend parliament sitting in the gallery, visitors gallery, but you can't speak there. The Attorney General of India can participate in parliament. He can speak, but he has no right to, right to vote because he is not a member. Members of parliament, whatever they speak, they cannot be prosecuted for their speech in courts. They are having immunity. Okay, is it clear to you? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, now I don't think so.
Yeah, there are no questions. If you have any question, tomorrow you can ask again.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Sir, I just want to say one thing. Am I allowed? Please, may I speak, sir?
I was looking for you. Your hand was down now. You can say, no worries.
Oh, okay. I was raising my hand for so long time, and my hand was getting pain. That is why I kept my hand down.
Just ask the question, or
sir, please accept my regards, sir, and my respect, because nowadays it is very difficult to speak truth in public forum. So, but I have not seen anybody like you to speak the truth in this way. So that is why my respect to you, sir. And now I have one question, that you have mentioned that nowadays one can, if there is some human right violation, then one can appeal before United Nations, before UN. So it is very, very encouraging. I mean, it is very beautiful, this thing. I mean, so my question is that, being an Indian, can an Indian person do that in this current scenario? That is my question.
Okay, I will explain. I will explain to you.